Get into it. President Trump has made his first appearance since someone tried to take his life, the assassination attempt that was heard around the world. I'm also trying to think of, just came to my head, what other world leaders are thinking, and if they've given any responses. I should look into that. But it was obviously heard around the world. Trump had not made an appearance for a little while. He finally made an appearance at the RNC day one, and a lot of people are saying a lot of different things about this appearance, and I'll say it right away. I think we're seeing a different man, and not a man who is, afraid, but he's changed. And I think any near-death experience like what he went through changes somebody on a spiritual level. And I think that's what we're about to see with Trump. A lot of people have prophesized that, he's going to come around to religion. I was actually talking to one of my spiritual advisors. I shouldn't say spiritual, he's my brother in Christ. He helped me get saved. And he was talking about how he's like, I fully see Trump turning over to Christ. But, I'll leave that with you guys. I want to show you guys his first appearance, him walking out. You can tell there's a lot of emotions in this guy. Check this out.
To go, we're going to try and zoom in as best we can from our vantage point. That is former President Trump has arrived here with a bandage on his ear. This is the first time in the entire event that you can widen out the shot. We can see him more now. This is the first time in the entire event we have seen the former president visibly since the attempted assassination this past Saturday. So the crowd has been on its feet since the last probably 3 minutes since the former president just walked into the facility. He's not on stage yet, but he has arrived. They have a camera shot of him, and the crowd just erupted here. This is the first time we have seen him, as you can see there, with a bandage on his right ear, still healing from the gunman's wound from this Saturday. This has been an event called the Republican National Convention. They have a theme every night. Tonight's is Make America Rich Again. The focus has, of course, been on selling former President Trump's message and his new running mate, Ohio Senator. I'm sorry, I want to interrupt. Former President Donald Trump is coming out now. I don't know if you guys are speaking with various Republican kind of royalty, so to speak, in the party. We haven't seen J.D. Vance. There's his son, both his sons, Eric and Donald Jr., shaking hands with. And I think that is J.D. Vance maybe right next to him, his vice presidential running mate right next to him on the screen. So J.D. Vance, I have heard from sources, maybe expected to speak a little later on. That's not been confirmed, but I have heard through sources that may happen. But just in the last few minutes, seeing the former president arrive here, everyone is on their feet. Here's giving a salute to the stage and to his supporters.
Scott.
Really, this is kind of what everything is built to. Joy, go back to you.
Scott, we can't help but wonder, all this talk about the Secret Service and security. What do you see right now? Where are their agents? Do you see armed guards? What are you seeing as far as security goes?
I'm not next to him. I'm behind something, so I can't see physically what's around him. I can say, Joy, that there are literally thousands of security, or hundreds minimum, all over the place. This is as secure of a facility as I've ever seen in my life. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of police officers from all over the area. So this is a very secure area. You can't walk anywhere. And of course, to even get in the facility, unlike what we saw in Pennsylvania, which was somewhat of an uncontained environment, this is heavily contained. You're not even able to get within blocks of this area without going through metal detectors. So this is definitely a different scene than what we have seen over 48 hours ago, which happened in Pennsylvania, in Milwaukee.
So there you have it. Donald Trump walks out. Everybody goes crazy. Incredible stuff, man. It's great to see him in good health. But again, like I said, it seems like there is a lot of emotion in him, even as he's walking out. Even as he's getting ready, it seems like there's a little something different in his face, in his eyes. And again, of course, there has to be. He's said in interviews when it comes to assassination attempts in jail, he says he's built different. He doesn't think about it, but to go through it is a different thing. And I think there is a shift in him. I'm sure there's a little bit of fear. There's a little bit of fear for his children. There's a little bit of fear for his wife, friends, of course. But it seems like there is a different type of presence in him right now. You see what's going on here as he walks up. If you notice, when he gets to a certain point, he doesn't have an earpiece in. He could have been told by Secret Service, but he stops right here. He just gives it a quick stop right before he gets in shot of everybody. He kind of slows down, and right here you have to be thinking, something could happen to me. This has already happened once where I was in a room filled with people or in a place filled with people who support me, and then something went off. You can tell there's a lot of emotion as he's coming out. It's hard to hear, but some people are screaming, fight, fight, mimicking what he said after he got up after having his ear damaged by a bullet. They're screaming USA near the end, like you heard. I'm sure there's a lot of emotion. When you feel, and I'm sure he feels this, like the world is against him, and then you come into a room where it's nothing but support and love, that has to really shift a person. It's just very cool to see him out and about almost directly after. I mean, he was moving around directly after the whole thing took place. He was coming off of a plane. There was a bit of footage of that. But for him to be standing tall around all of his security detail, which if you notice now are all tall men. Here's what I found interesting too. If you notice right there, that's Tucker Carlson. Wild that the first handshake when he comes in, is Tucker Carlson, right? And I know that's because Tucker Carlson's sitting there. I get it. But the fact that the lineup that we're seeing is Tucker Carlson, Byron Donalds, J.D. Vance, and Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. And then behind him, we have, and I'll just move this over a little bit. And then behind, we have the children, right? Right there, you can see all of the children here. So we have his sons there, right? It's just all family. And to think that Tucker Carlson is in that mix makes me very hopeful for 2028. I have to be honest. Makes me very, very hopeful. The fact to see Byron Donalds there as well, I love that. Surprised that I'm not seeing Vivek there. It's very interesting, but we're going to talk about Vivek in a second. His running mate, everybody knows, J.D. Vance. There they are together. If you don't know, J.D. Vance is a senator of Ohio. Good friends with Vivek. Actually, really good friends. In fact, one of his sons is named Vivek. He married a woman. I'm not sure what her actual descent or nationality or anything like that is, but she is, I'll just say, like Vivek. Okay? Try and be nice here. She is like Vivek, and they have named their third child, they named Vivek, which is very interesting because he's very good friends. Maybe it's a common name where they're from. Not really sure. Maybe he was just that inspiring. Maybe they're just that close of friends. I have a really close friend that's named Michael, and I've always wanted to name one of my sons Michael, but if I did, it wouldn't be because of him, but it would definitely be a bonus because he's my best friend, So it's very interesting, but I want to move on to talk about what's going on with Vivek. He's not there, as you saw. He is in the vicinity because he did this interview, and this was in the vicinity. So this is him talking about what could possibly be next for Vivek. A lot of us want to see Vivek in a position in the administration, and some people actually want to see Vivek take J.D. Vance's spot in the Senate, which would also be very good. But here's what Vivek has to say about it.
There'll be an absence in the Senate. Governor Mike DeWine is going to be making an appointment. Could we see a Senator Ramaswamy?
The truth is, I would strongly consider it if asked. I'd also want to have an open conversation with President Trump about where I could have the biggest impact on the future of the country. For me, my top passion and sense of purpose as well is tackling the administrative state. And I think that exists in cancerous ways at the federal level. It exists in all 50 states in this country, too. And shutting down that administrative state, that shadow government, is what gives me the greatest sense of purpose and impact. There are elements of that need to be done through the executive branch. There are elements of that frankly need to be done through the legislative branch, too, in laying out the pathway for reclaiming accountability to the political branches of government.
Yeah.
particularly the lawmaking branch where lawmakers are elected rather than unelected bureaucrats who wield that power today. So both of those could be ways to take that challenge on. And, that's for after President Trump wins. That's the real goal, is first achieve success.
So very interesting. Says he wants to talk to President Trump. So I'm guessing what that means is that he wants to see what does President Trump have in store for him. Because if he has a position within the administration, I think Vivek's going to take that rather than take the spot that J.D. Vance once held in the Senate. I think either place would be good. I think Ohio would be very well taken care of. And it would also give Vivek a chance to prove himself as someone who could make proper decisions in politics. I have faith in him based on, the hours and hours of intelligent conversation that Vivek has had in podcasts and interviews where he's talking about policy, talking about what he would do as president. But this would give him that legitimacy that so many people look for in a candidate, which would be good. I mean, it worked for J.D. Vance, right? And also it would be a straight up MAGA senator, just someone who through and through fully supports MAGA, and that's always good to have. But if he gets a role in the administration, I think that would be just as good, if not better, in my opinion. Better for the country, that's for sure. So we'll see what happens there. Very interesting stuff. But again, just the main focus is it's just beautiful to see President Trump out and about, really getting out there. It's a wild time to be alive. It's a wild time to see this happen to a president. Just wild. Look, his son's welled up with emotion there. You can see eyes a little glazed there. Nobody wants to break down crying, I'm sure, but I'm someone who grew up without a father, so I would think that I would be very, very distraught if somebody tried to take my father out, and my father was somebody as great as Donald Trump, right? So it's very, very wild time to be alive, guys. Expect to see more from President Trump. He is going to be out and about giving speeches, and breaking news, he is the nominee. He was named the nominee. Believe it or not, that actually happened. Wow. I don't know. Could have been, I don't know who else it would. Well, I'm surprised he got it. It was close with the zero competition that he had. He did away with the competition a long time ago. Great to see. What I'm really thinking of too, ended on this. What's going to happen at the Democrat convention? What's going to happen there? Because Donald Trump was received by everybody, roaring applause. Every state was talking about how honored they are to back Donald Trump, all calling him a friend, things of that nature. What's going to happen when you take this same setting and it's Joe Biden? Joe Biden even said, challenge me if you think I shouldn't be the nominee. Challenge me at the convention. I wonder if anyone's going to take him up on that and actually challenge him. I wonder if people are actually going to voice their concerns and actually say out loud, we don't think you should be the nominee. Should be a very interesting, usually I have no interest of watching that whatsoever, but this time I'm going to be watching very closely. Anyways, guys, again, pray for President Trump, but he seems to be all good. Just wanted to show you guys that. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Other than that, I'm out.